Welcome to another In Wheel Time podcast, a 30-minute mini version of the In Wheel Time car show that airs live every Saturday morning, 8 to 11 a.m. Central. For more details. It's the In Wheel Time car talk show. Coming up, Rhonda Palmer, Corvette pilot, competing in a big open road race.
All right.
Later, Jeff has this week's Motor Minute, and I'll have this week's stories making automotive news headlines. Howdy. Along with Mike out of this world, Mars, granddaughter Kylie. We always need more Jeff Zekin. I'm Don Armstrong. Glad you could join us on this Saturday morning. Thank you very much. We appreciate it. And Mr. Mars has our first guest.
Rhonda, how are you this morning, ma'am?
I'm great. Good to see all of you. And welcome, Kylie.
Yeah. Yes, Kylie's here helping us out today. So when we first talked, we were talking about, we were talking before the Big Bend open road race, but things didn't work out scheduling-wise, so here we are. So I guess what we ought to do is talk a little bit about what is the Big Bend open road race.
Okay, well, I hope y'all have about 3 hours just for me. I'm kidding. No, I'm kidding. No, the Big Bend open road race has been around about 27, 28 years, and we've been involved in it for about 13. It is from Fort Stockton to Sanderson, Texas. So they close the highway down. It's an open road race. They let one car go at a time. You pick the average time, target speed that you want to maintain, and then they give you some cushion. So, for instance, this last time I wanted to average 120, but I was allowed to go to 140 in order to maintain that average. So it's just a wonderful time. The way my husband, Brian, describes it is it's a great week in West Texas, and then there's a race on Saturday.
There you go.
How in the world do you decide which speed you're going to pick? Why do you have to pick a speed?
Oh, that's a great question. So just for safety, whenever you first start out, they have you start out at a lower speed.
What's the lower speed?
I'm not really. Yeah, I don't know all these correct terms, grand touring and all this. So somebody's going to probably punch me in the arm when they see me, Bob. But the lowest is 100 miles an hour.
So you got to make your first run at 100 to make sure that.
Well, no, that's the average speed.
100. Your average is from 100 to 110 if it's your first year. You can pick that, and it's really just what you feel confident with.
Well, for me, I've got a 2001 Corvette with a 6-speed manual transmission. It'll easily do 100. I've done. I didn't say that.
Done it on I-10, probably.
Yeah, well, no, I'm not even going to discuss where I did that. 4th Street. But I will tell you that for me, as a beginner, 100's fine with me, so I can take it up to 110 and down to 90, but I got to maintain somewhere around 100.
Right, and so the good news about that road is there's one good long piece of straight, like about 12 miles when you come down toward the end. So you go all one way, 60 miles one way. Everybody stops down in the little town. It's a fundraiser. You eat lunch. You tell lies about how close you are, and then you load up and come back. And so they average the two legs going down and coming back.
Yeah.
And so you have that 12 miles at the end to sort of adjust.
Oh,
now you have to do it pretty close to perfect, because if something happens and you only get to run one way, that's all they're going to count. So you want to really get as close as you can. And it's so weird, y'all. You can, when the cars are lined up, what we call on grid, you can walk up and down that lane and you see the most beautiful cars, all kinds of foreign and domestic cars, race cars and street, just regular cars that people drive every day. And then you look inside. And when you do that, you might see something as simple as a little dash cam or some kind of timing device. Or you might see, when they pull out their glove box, a total computer, maybe a little printer in there, and they have gotten this down to a science.
Oh, Lord.
So there's all kinds of things that people use to dial in their timing, but there's a bunch of us out there that like to just really use the GPS and a stopwatch.
Are there mile markers along the way so you know where you are and what time you should be hitting right at that point?
There are not. You do receive some notes that describe the road. So when you register, you get some course notes. But it's up to you and the driver. You take your car down that road, and depending what modifications you've had, or even if you just changed your tires, you really need to look at your own odometer, because they might say, I'm going to just make this up, they may say the windmill is at 19.5 miles in, but because of the different modifications you've had on your car, it shows up at 18.8.
Yeah, sure.
So do you have a navigator?
Yes. So usually we all have navigators, but occasionally, like this time, when I went a couple weeks ago, I did not have a navigator. So I'm usually the navigator, and I love to navigate because I can just tell people what to do, right? I don't have to. And don't call it a nag-a-vator, but sometimes people do get mixed up on that. But anyway, we say what happens in the car stays in the car.
Mars, you'd be the nag-a-vator.
No, I'm
the agitator.
I'm going to use that, though.
Yeah. When she said they have cameras and computers, he would have a 12-pack.
Yeah.
That's funny. No, but this time, since I didn't have a navigator, I have my dash cam. It has a forward-facing camera and a driver-facing camera, and I pretended like I was the navigator, and I just navigated to myself. So.
And the camera.
Anyway.
Yeah. All right. So how did you do? How did you do? What car did you drive?
So I have a C6. It's an 05. It's an LS2 motor. It's a run-of-the-mill car, and that was our first Corvette we got. And I really love it. But as we drove it around and started doing more than just the Big Bend race, we started doing some side-by-side with the shootouts, with the half mile and even the Texas mile. We started looking for a Z06. So we found one last year. So my husband drove that one this year. So we had 2 cars out there. And I forgot your original question. But
Yeah,
what were you driving?
Here's how people do. So with all that equipment in their car, they get really, really close within less than a second. But I was feeling pretty good because by myself, first time with no navigator, I was within 4 seconds. Oh. And what makes you feel even better is, okay, yeah, there's other people who did better, but how did you do compared to what you expected? And how did you really do on your stopwatches? So you're driving, I had a stopwatch around my neck, just a coach's stopwatch, and you've got reaction time and gloves and safety glasses and all your harnesses and everything. So what I really looked for is, on my own timing, how close did I come to what they said I did? Do you see the difference?
Yes. And so how close did you come? 4 seconds.
I was perfect. I was exactly where they said I was going down there, and I was a second and a half off what they said coming back. So even though overall in the race I was 4 seconds off, fast, mind you, I wasn't 4 seconds slow. But what I was more impressed with is how close I was to, even though I was off, how close I was to what they said.
So it really wasn't a race. It was more of a timed event.
Exactly. And they have everybody in categories. So like if you said you wanted to go average 110, there might be 20 people in that category, and they do have the 3 top place winners. But it's more about just getting to go fast and seeing how you do compared to your own expectations.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, do you have an automatic or a manual transmission in your car?
So we have both. So I drove the automatic this time because my husband wanted to drive the manual.
Z06, yeah.
But last year I drove that one, and we averaged 130.
130 average.
So when you average 130, you're allowed to go up to 168. And let me tell you, there's nothing more thrilling than taking a 65 mile an hour curve at 130.
Oh my God.
Cool.
No, thank you.
Well, I mean, it wasn't a tight turn, I hope.
No, the tightest turn is what they call the 2400 curve. And all of us, no matter what type of car we have or how souped up they are, whatever, we try to go in it under 120 and usually around 110 or whatever. But you're just so into it, and the adrenaline is going. So this year I went into that one at 118. It's a pretty tight curve, and you come out of it around 95.
So what's the speed limit on that curve? What does the TxDOT engineers say you should be doing?
60. No, it's a 50. I'm sorry. No, it's a 55 mile an hour curve. I'm sorry. That one's a 55.
55.
And they call it almost a 90 degree, but it's a long
sweeper.
Tight. No, it's not even a sweeper. They call it a curve.
Oh.
A sweeper you can go pretty quick through. Even though it's long, you can still go pretty quick. So we have sweepers, curves, turns, and bends. Sweepers and bends, you can go pretty quick. You can see the end of them. Even though it might be long, you can see it. curves and turns, you cannot see where you're going to come out. So it's a little tricky.
Now, do they have course helpers on there, or people with flags? So if there's a problem up ahead,
spotters, yeah.
they're gonna raise the red flag or yellow flag or something.
Absolutely. That's a great question. In fact, if anybody wants to get involved, that's the best way to start, because they advertise this for months, and all of the ranchers out there know they're going to have to lock their gates and go different ways to get in and out of their homes. And they have course workers. Some of them are just there camping out, and they do learn. They know what they're supposed to do with flags and that sort of thing. Some of them have radar guns, so you really, when they say you can only go to 140 to maintain your average, if they catch you going over, you're disqualified.
Oh.
And then if you're 30 miles an hour under, you're also disqualified. So if you say you're going to go that fast, you need to have the gumption to really go that fast. But yes, they train the course workers to know. They all have radios, and they're letting you know if somebody's off the road or if somebody had a flat. There's airplanes in the sky trying to get rid of the animals, and they're also got their eyes on all the drivers. Policemen, sheriffs, and everything like that are all over the place.
How many days is this event?
The actual race is 1 day. So they close the highway there from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m.
Gotcha.
That's on Highway 285. There's a practice course on 90 in Sanderson, and that's about a 8.5 or 10 mile course, but they have it alternating off where people can practice and calibrate their instruments and see if they can get up to top speed and those kinds of things.
Yeah.
But people go out there on Monday of the week of the event, and they'll hurry up and get teched in or go look at the beautiful countryside down there. And there's all kinds of things to do. Both communities are just so welcoming and so happy that people are out there, because they're kind of small. Well, Fort Stockton's good size, but still, that's a big influx of people. They say it's the best boost to their economy as anything they have.
So it goes from Fort Stockton down to Sanderson.
That's right.
And that's it.
It's 2-lane blacktop.
There and back.
And when is the actual event? Sunday?
Saturday morning. So it is they call it 60 miles, but it's really 59 miles, and it is 2-lane most of the way. But whenever there's curves, it'll open up to 3 or 4 lanes, and there's 59 elevation changes and 59 turns. So everybody goes down there. There's about 130 of us, 135 of us. We each take our time. People who are in the unlimited speed go first. That means they're going to just go flat out. They don't have to try to keep it within a range, but if they're going to go unlimited, it needs to be over 155.
Jeez.
And so
do you
they
know?
go first, and there's 3 minutes in between each of them. And then starting at 155 to 130, there's 1 minute in between them. And then everybody between 125 and down to 100, 30 seconds in between. So we all go down. Theoretically, you should not run into anybody. If someone is having trouble with their car, or if you're going way too fast, they do have rules for passing, but theoretically you should not.
Yeah. No, I'm good. So,
and I didn't mean run into people. I meant see people. Clearly, you're not supposed to run into people.
I know exactly what you're talking about. So, when is the next event?
The next one is October 19th.
Okay.
So there's two now.
So there's one in the spring and one in the fall.
October 19th. And how do you register?
You go to BigBenORR.com, BigBenOpenRoadRace.com, and y'all, if you want to do this, get in there now, because it may already be full, but you can get on the waiting list. People drop out, but beyond that, get on there and become a course worker. There's no grandstands. There's no big group of people at the finish line or anything like that. The best way to see it is literally to be one of the course workers, and you get the list of all the racers. You know what type of car they have. You know what order they're supposed to be in and how fast they're supposed to go. So you track it all the way there. The people who are doing that will camp out. They'll bring shade structures, chairs, ice chests, barbecue pits. It's a fun time for them too.
Yeah, because they're there all day. They can't leave in the middle of the day because there's cars coming. So what time? Do you know what time of the morning this first car goes out?
We actually get on grid a little bit before getting out on the highway. We stage in a park there at Fort Stockton at 5:30 in the morning, And so they're making sure we're all in line and all, we've already been teched out with all the safety gear. That's one thing I'll say about Big Ben. It is super safe. I got to hand it to the tech guys. I mean, they know what they're doing and they really do look after us. So anyway, we all get in line there, and the first car is technically supposed to go out around 8:30.
Right after we start
we have
our
to make
program.
sure we're waiting on pilots who are donating their time. We're waiting on perhaps some truck driver who might have taken a nap in one of the parks. So we got to, really clear all that out.
One quick question before we have to go, because we're running short on time. What does it feel like to go by a highway patrol at 120 miles an hour and just watch him as you go by?
And honk and wave.
Yeah.
Awesome, y'all. It is an awesome feeling. I will tell you. There's nothing really better. That's what almost everybody who gets into this says. I just want to go fast. I want to see what my car will do and go fast legally, not get in trouble for it. It's a great feeling. I really can't even describe it.
How fun is that? So
in your face.
BBORR.com. Rhonda, it's great to talk to you.
Thank you. Y'all have a great day.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. All right.
Kylie, they give you any ideas?
Yeah.
I'm in. Hey, you know what? There's your navigator. Doesn't weigh anything at all.
Yeah, but what I'm thinking is a remote broadcast. You run the course with her as the navigator in your Corvette.
We should do it.
I'm in. Leave Grandpa behind.
Oh, yeah.
Well.
No, I have no problem with that.
Grandpa and Grandma.
Yeah. No problem
Well,
with that.
Grandma might want to be in the race too.
Yeah.
That's
Well,
it. She could take the Lexus.
I'm definitely being left behind then.
What nothing to do with that?
Hey, the In-Wheel Time Car Talk Show is available 24/7 through the iHeartRadio app. Look for In-Wheel Time Car Talk. We also video stream our 3-hour weekly show on Facebook, YouTube, and InWheelTime.com. And podcasts, they're on your favorite podcast provider. The In-Wheel Time Car Talk Show continues right after this quick break. Pro-Am Auto Accessories has been serving Houston's auto enthusiasts since 1984, providing world-class products for sports cars, European sedans, and American muscle. Pro-Am is known as the place to go to find exclusive and hard-to-find parts and accessories. Pro-Am is one of the very first distributors in the USA for brands such as Recaro, Redline, Momo, Corbo, and Simpson. Located in the heart of Houston's premier retail and service corridor, the Galleria area, Pro-Am's walk-in storefront includes an 8,000-square-foot warehouse, showroom, and installation bays. Pro-Am not only sells parts and accessories, but also offers installation and service. Pro-Am is now reaching a worldwide audience through Pro-Am.com, taking its local reputation to the rest of the world. At Pro-Am Auto, you'll be dealing with a small group of professionals who truly want to help you with your automotive needs. If you don't see what you're looking for on the website, call and Pro-Am will lend you a hand. Pro-Am Auto, 6125 Richmond at Green Ridge in Houston's Galleria area. Call them at 713-781-7755. Want to feel good about something special you did for someone special? In-Wheel Time and the original Lupi Tortilla group of Tex-Mex restaurants have joined together to help a very worthy cause, God's Garage, a Christian-based 501c3 charity. We know there are lots of places and organizations out there where you can donate a car, truck, or SUV, but we're asking you, our car enthusiast family, to consider donating to God's Garage. Visit godsgarage.org and learn about its mission, the women that have been helped, how each one is screened, and about their Restore You program. A car donation is an easy way to make a difference in the lives of others. God's Garage needs good operating vehicles, but will take all types in working and non-working condition. Make your heart and soul feel good by donating your gently used vehicle and help support single mothers, widows, and wives of deployed military at godsgarage.org. Thanks for joining us on this Saturday on our live broadcast. And if you're not on the live broadcast, thank you for joining us on our podcasts, of which there are many around the world. All right.
50 countries.
50 countries. Yeah, you're on the In-Wheel Time Car Talk Show. Thanks for riding with us today. We'd love to hear from you. Shoot us an email. The address is info@inwheeltime.com. Time now for Jeff's Motor Minute. Today, it's the E-Ray Corvette Pace Car.
Yeah, well, we got the Indianapolis 500 coming up, And I've got a picture of it right here. The Indy 500 pace car was unveiled. This comes from Michelle Pemberton from the Indy Star.
Doesn't look any different than the regular car.
But it's electric. The 2024 pace car for the 108th running of the Indianapolis 500, presented by Gamebridge, is unveiled by the Indianapolis Motor Speedway from the president J. Doug Bowles and Alyssa Haba from Chevrolet Motorsports. Haba. On Wednesday, May 8th at IMS, which is Indianapolis Motor Speedway. This year's pace car, the 2024 Chevrolet Corvette E-Ray 3LZ Coupe, is the fastest Corvette ever produced by Chevrolet.
How fast is it?
It doesn't say, but it's fast.
It doesn't say.
It doesn't say. It just says fast.
Okay.
Yep.
Does it have a spoiler on the back of it?
It does have a little wing.
Yeah, it does have a wing back there?
A little bitty one.
Okay.
Yep, there
Fast
it
is as fast does.
Yep,
I guess
there you go.
Well, I don't know how I feel about that.
Well, they don't just have one. They're going to have several. I'm sure there's going to be like 20 of them.
50 of them or
something
whatever
like that.
it is.
They usually do.
Yeah.
'Cause they're
And
big
it's available
parade
at your Chevrolet dealer for a premium. I remember when they had the 1978 Indy pace car Corvette, and it was black and silver. Mm-hmm. And today they're worth something, but not much. And a lot of people will actually clone their car to make it look like that. I don't know why you do that.
I found this picture, but there's several other pictures of this same car, and that logo on the door actually said 2021. On one of the first shots I pulled up, I said, that's not right. So I did a little bit more research, and they had the wrong sticker on it. So they had to redo the sticker for the car.
The car was right, but the sticker was wrong.
The sticker was wrong.
How funny.
Yeah.
Consumers say financial worries likely will affect their plans for buying or leasing a new vehicle in the near future. That's according to Urban Science. And all I can think of is that, what was that television show, Weird Science? What was it?
Yeah,
when they did the
Weird
movie with the robots or something sitting in the audience of the theater?
Oh, yeah, 2001. The shadows of the robot and the guy.
Yeah,
and
they were
was
movie critics or something.
Yeah.
Absolutely hysterical.
It was.
What was the name of that
I don't
show?
know.
Well, you've got to
see
find it. It's something Mystery Theater 2000.
Yes,
is that what it was?
Yes. Yeah.
Really?
Mystery Theater, yeah.
God, they've drugged me out of the old folks' home, and the memory worked for just a moment.
Exactly.
Anyway, the study conducted by Detroit Consultancy and technology provider Urban Science and Chicago market firm, the Harris Poll, in its third year. What are you fiddling with down there?
He's fiddling.
I'm fiddling with stuff.
Okay, well, I need to turn your microphone off when you do that,
Well,
because it sounds like you're rustling the sheets.
I didn't
and
want to
we really
interrupt
don't.
you.
We really
Oh,
don't
no.
need that. The research was based off responses the firms collected in January and February from 250 dealers and top-level executives at U.S. franchise dealerships and 3,000 U.S. consumers, a story from Automotive News. Of car buyers surveyed, 55% said they're likely to change their vehicle purchase or lease plans due to economic concerns in the near future. Of dealers who represented, 86% said they expected that would happen. The top three changes consumers indicated they would make were looking at more budget-friendly vehicle options, changes in vehicle payment and selection strategy, and exploring alternative vehicle technologies, such as hybrids or electric vehicles. They didn't even say anything about used, but that's where I would go. There are some really good used vehicles out there, and I would encourage you, if you're in the market for another car, check out the used vehicle market, because you can buy, as we know, a really nice car for a lot less money than buying new. So there is that. Most dealers have used or certified used vehicles, as well as the used car lots like Emmons. So there's lots of choices. Do your homework.
Got to do your homework.
Hyundai's and Kia's American financing arm will pay $334,941 to settle charges it illegally repossessed vehicles belonging to military service members.
Uh-oh.
That, according to the U.S. Department of Justice on Wednesday. According to papers filed in L.A. federal court, Hyundai Capital America violated the Service Members Civil Relief Act between 2015 and 2023 by repossessing 26 vehicles whose owners had begun paying off their loans prior to active duty. The Justice Department said the law required the financing arm to obtain court permission before repossessing vehicles.
Wow.
Moron.
Yep.
Without admitting wrongdoing, Hyundai Capital America will pay $10,000 plus lost vehicle equity to each of the 26 service members and repair their credit. It'll also pay $74,941 to the U.S. Treasury to vindicate the public interest. What?
They just want to schmooze to the public so they don't get any more
Some
hate
marketing
mail.
idiot did that. Okay, whatever. Mm-hmm. General Motors plans to end production of the Chevrolet Malibu in November.
Yeah.
So it can use the Kansas plant that builds the sedan to assemble the next generation Chevy Bolt. That seems to me a step backwards, but I'm just saying.
But when you sent me that picture of it in the article on that, they showed the classic Chevy Malibu from like a 70, 72, not the new one, which doesn't look like anything like it.
Yeah. Well, GM on Wednesday said it'll pause production of the Cadillac XT4 crossover at Fairfax Assembly from January until the plant comes back online later that year.
Oh, boy.
CEO Mary Barra has said that the Bolt, which has been built on GM's older battery architecture, will be redesigned onto its Ultium EV platform and return in 2025.
I don't know what that means.
It's a different platform.
I know, but the Ultium.
It's just a name that they're using for this skateboard platform.
Call it a frame.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
The skateboard platform, so they can click on a different body.
I know what that is.
But underneath it, it's the
I know, but where do they come up with these names?
Marketing. Marketing department.
Some PR guy.
And here's something that that struck me, and I wanted to mention it. Jay Marks, a kind and generous man, passed away peacefully in his sleep on the 7th of May at the age of 100 and a half. More than just a successful businessman, Jay always had a kind word and helping hand for all without exception. Jay was able to expand his business from J. Mark Chevrolet in LaPorte, which you probably heard of, to a series of dealerships and franchises throughout Texas, including Chevy, Mazda, Hyundai, Toyota, Volkswagen, BMW, Suzuki, Ferrari, GMC, Jeep, Pontiac, and yes, even Yugo back in the day. Jay supported the industry, serving as president of the Houston Auto Dealers Association and president of the Texas Automobile Dealers Association.
Wow.
So, sad day, but he lived a good life, apparently, 100 years.
Long life.
For sure.
You bet.
Hey, time now for a quick break, and we'll be right back. You're on the In Wheel Time Car Talk Show. Thanks for being with us this morning.
Tailpipes and Tacos is back. Memorial Day weekend. It's been a while, but the popular Tailpipes and Tacos Cruise-In returns to the Loopy Tortilla Tex-Mex in Katy, Saturday, May 25th. Bring your hot rod, classic, or modern classic to compete for one of the famous chili pepper trophies and get a free breakfast taco. Just make a donation of any size to God's Garage and Loopy's will match it. You'll be helping single mothers who need a set of wheels. It's been a year in the making, so don't miss this Tailpipes and Tacos Cruise-In, Saturday, May 25th, 8 to 11 a.m. Donate what you want to God's Garage and grab a free Loopy Tortilla breakfast taco. Tailpipes and Tacos only happens at the Loopy Tortilla Tex-Mex in Katy on the West Grand Parkway at Kingsland Boulevard, just south of the Katy Freeway. It's car show season, and what better way to kick it off than a free taco and camaraderie at Tailpipes and Tacos. Memorial Day weekend, Saturday, May 25th, 8 to 11 a.m. The In Wheel Time Car Talk Show will be there too. Proceeds benefit God's Garage, weather permitting. Gulf Coast Auto Shield is having another car social Saturday morning, May 18th from 8 to 11. It's a car cruise-in like no other. Expect Ferraris, Lamborghinis, Corvettes, and the featured brand Porsche. Get social at this special cruise-in event. You'll also see Gulf Coast Auto Shield's private workshop and learn about their many products and services. Questions are welcomed. Gulf Coast Auto Shield is easy to get to at 11275 South Sam Houston Tollway near West Airport Boulevard, just south of the Southwest Freeway. The Car Social featuring Porsche takes place Saturday morning, May 18th from 8 to 11. Tell your friends, and no matter what car you have, bring it and enjoy this rare opportunity to see some of Houston's finest rides. In Wheel Time will bring its car talk show there too, so join us for another Car Social at Gulf Coast Auto Shield, Saturday morning, May 18th, 8 to 11 at 11275 South Sam Houston Tollway, just south of the Southwest Freeway. Visit gcautoshield.com to see the show flyer for more details. That's it for this podcast episode of the In Wheel Time Car Show. I'm Don Armstrong, inviting you to join us for our live show every Saturday morning, 8 to 11 a.m. Central on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and our InWheelTime.com website. Podcasts are available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, iHeart Podcast, Podcast Addict, TuneIn, Pandora, and Amazon Music. Keep listening, and we'll see you soon.